Good morning, sir. Good morning, Dr. Rajvanshi.
Namaskar.
Namaskar,
Can you
sir.
hear me?
Namaskar, sir. Namaskar. Honorable Vice Chancellor is joining in a minute, and then we'll be starting.
Can you hear me and see me properly?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible and visible, sir.
Thank you. This is the first time I'm using the iPad, so I was not sure how it is.
No, you are absolutely clear as far as voice and video both are concerned.
I wish that this could have been a physical seminar so that we could meet, but I guess you made this decision long ago.
Yeah,
So
actually,
now,
it was 3-4 months back. We decided that we'll go with the online mode only. But this is a regular event which we conduct every year, PRAGYATA. So next time definitely we'll be looking forward to.
No, but I do not know why you selected me, because I'm neither an electrical engineer nor electronics engineer. So I do not know what.
But your work on renewable energy is very commendable, sir. Your work on renewable energy, your work on solar is highly commendable, sir.
Anyway.
Namaskar, Rajvanshi ji, namaskar.
Good morning.
Namaskar,
Sir.
namaskar,
sir.
Welcome to our university on virtual platform.
Thank you.
So, Namit, I think we can start.
Yes, sir. Coordinators. Mosmi, can we begin?
Yes, sir. Good morning and welcome to all of you. Shri Vaishnav Vidyapith Vishwavidyalaya welcomes you all today for the inaugural session of conference on innovative and sustainable developments in electrical and electronics engineering, PRAGYATA 2022. This conference is organized by Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, SVITS, SVVV. Honorable Chief Guest, Padma Shri, Dr. Anil Rajvanshi, Professor and Director, Nimbikar Agricultural Research Institute, Fulton, Maharashtra. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Upinder Dhar, Dean FDSR, Dr. Santosh Dhar, Conference Chair, Dr. Namit Gupta, Dean Faculty of Engineering and Architecture, Conference Convener, Dr. Navita Khatri, and co-conveners, Dr. Swapnil Jain and Professor Anjali Gupta, Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, members of the team of PRAGYATA 2022, head of the institutes, head of the departments, faculties, delegates from academia, all the authors and researchers, a very good morning to all of you. I, Mosmi Verma, feel privileged to welcome you all in the conference. This international conference on innovative and sustainable developments in electrical and electronics engineering, PRAGYATA 2022, will provide a platform for sharing knowledge in the fields of robotics, renewable energy, wireless communications, and various other related subjects as well. It is a holy tradition to worship our goddess Saraswati before any important event. So let's dedicate our prayers to Ma Saraswati for the auspicious ceremony. I request our AV team to play the video for virtual lamp lighting.
Soma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurva पद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युत शङ्कर प्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा।
Thank you all. Let us extend a gracious welcome to our chief guest, Padma Shri Dr. Anil Rajvanshi, Professor and Director, Nimbakar Agricultural Research Institute, Fulton, Maharashtra. I request Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Upinder Dhar, to please give virtual floral welcome to our distinguished chief guest. AVT, please play the video. We welcome you, sir. Now, I would like to request Conference Chair, Dr. Namit Gupta, to brief us about the conference. Sir.
Thank you, Mosmi Ma'am, and good morning to all of you. Respected Chief Guest on the occasion, Padma Shri Dr. Anil K. Rajvanshi, Director, NARI, Fulton. Honorable Vice Chancellor of Shri Vaishnav Vidyapith Vishwavidyalaya, Dr. Upinder Dhar. Rector and Dean FDSR, Dr. Santosh Dhar, all the head of the institutes and head of the departments of Shri Vaishnav Vidyapith Vishwavidyalaya, conference coordinators, Dr. Navita Khatri, Dr. Swapnil Jain, and Professor Anjali Gupta, all faculty members, participants, delegates, and students. At the outset, I would like to once again welcome you all for this inaugural session of PRAGYATA 2022. Sustainability and innovativeness are the key words of today's fast developing technological world. Sustainable innovation involves bringing into common usage of ideas, concepts, practices, and products that contribute to the ecological environment, social cohesion, and economic viability. Relevance of innovation is very high as it serves as a tool to solve the problems and enhance sustainable well-being. Building up of global knowledge hub and local innovation systems, ecosystems are the key to it. To meet the constantly changing global competitive environment, both national innovation systems and regional developments should be strengthened. In today's time, when we are looking at an economical shift from manufacturing towards services, it is very much required that new fields like renewable energy, electric vehicles, smart grids, robotics, automation, IoT, artificial intelligence, and many more should be explored, and more sustainable innovation should be encouraged in these fields. Today's conference aims at providing one such platform to researchers and academicians. This two-day conference shall be comprising of 3 plenary sessions and 3 technical sessions. In 3 plenary sessions, we have total 9 distinguished professors as a panel members from IITs, IIITs, and NITs. They shall be sharing their expertise with all the attendees. Today, that is on May 27, 2022, after the inaugural session, we have plenary session 1. The speakers of this plenary session are Dr. Ajay Agrawal, Professor IIT Jodhpur, Dr. Rajivan Chandel, Professor NIT Hamirpur, and Dr. Rajesh Kumar, Professor MNIT Jaipur. This plenary session shall be followed by technical session 1 in the post-lunch time. Today, that is 28th of May 2022, we'll begin the day with plenary session 2. The distinguished speakers of this plenary session shall be Dr. Devashish Chakravarti from IIT Kharagpur, Dr. Anubha Gupta from IIIT Delhi, and Dr. Arvind Kumar Rajawat, Professor MANIT Bhopal. We'll be having technical session 2 and technical session 3 parallel going on from 12:30 p.m. tomorrow. There will be third plenary session at 2 p.m. tomorrow. The speakers will be Dr. Sarat Kumar Patra from IIIT Vadodara, Dr. Devjani Mitra from IIT Dhanbad, and Dr. Jyoti Singhai from Manit, Bhopal. So in this 2-day, we hope that the platform for all the delegates, researchers, academicians, and students shall be made available to discuss more and more innovative and sustainable ideas and the possible developments in the field of electrical and electronics engineering. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words. Now, I would like to request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Upinder Dhar, to please deliver the welcome address. Sir.
Chief guest on this occasion, Dr. Anil Rajvanshi, Chairperson of the conference, Dr. Namit Gupta, all the distinguished speakers, colleagues, friends, students, and delegates. At the outset, I would like to welcome all of you on this special occasion when we are inaugurating the annual conference named PRAGYATA. The theme for the conference is very timely. As we can see, it addresses the innovative and sustainable developments, particularly with reference to electrical and electronics. The electrical engineering industry, so to say, is under a significant paradigm shift. Ambitious research and development departments all over the globe are working towards better ways to obtain, store, and use electrical energy. We can see certain trends which are emerging. Say, for example, first one we could refer to smart grids. Unlike in the past, whereby consumers solely depended on a local electrical power company, today they have many options with the ability to even generate their own power. Some consumers also now want to sell their surplus. I'm happy to share that here in our university we are doing it. As a result, the electricity delivery infrastructure has to change over the period of time. In response to these demands, most energy departments around the world, it's not restricted to India, around the world, are placing smart devices throughout their networks, right up to consumers' homes, offices, and factories. The smart grid collects valuable data to allow both consumers and suppliers a higher degree of control over multiple power sources. It also enables them to predict surge in usage and instantly detect outages. By allowing end-to-end communications between distribution sites, power plants, and the end users, electrical point of presence, smart grids significantly raise efficiency and reduce costs. Soon, it is inevitable that electrical engineers will frequently come across smart grids and they may be asked to help to develop one. This is one which is an emerging trend. Even in our country, it is emerging. Second, say electrical vehicles. Electrical vehicles would be the standard de facto. Tesla has already hit $100 billion milestone. making itself the first publicly listed US car maker in history to do so. This is a good sign that electric vehicles have come to stay. Recently, last month I was in USA and I had the opportunity to sit in Tesla. It was a different kind of experience. My friend who was driving the vehicle did not touch the steering. It was all automated. Only command was given. Even at in the road, wherever it had to slow down, it slowed down itself. Automatic. Totally different experience. Experts predict that by 2030, which is not very far, 2030, there would be over 125 million electric vehicles on the road. 125 million electric vehicles on the road. Considering the millions of electrical vehicles that are already roaming the streets, not in India on a very large number, but although it is coming up, it is emerging even in our country. This is not so much of a long shot. Many EV manufacturers are investing hard into the tech, and consumers can expect better batteries, improved charging technology, more accurate autonomous driving, solar-powered EVs, and even electric planes. Days are not very far when we'll be seeing that there are electric planes. Thirdly, third trend that we can see, we can experience is wireless power transfer. Wireless power transfer is in its primitive stages, but the future is bright. Better wireless charging for laptops, smartphones, earphones, and other smart devices are now expected. In fact, last month in US, I found that without any wiring, a smartphone was charged. Just simply keep it somewhere on a platform, it would get charged. So things are changing very fast. Wireless charging will also become the standard for electric cars. Instead of the large charging docks, drivers will be able to park on a charging spot without needing to plug in. Experts predict that a few years from now, it will also be possible to charge your electric vehicle while it is moving. This is going to happen. Fourth trend that we can experience is wireless wearable tech. A few years back, in an Apple event, Tim Cook shared a couple of videos he had received from several Apple Watch users. These customers appreciated how the Apple Watch had detected their health conditions, such as atrial fibrillation, and encouraged the users to visit a doctor. So finally, or ultimately, so what? Saving their lives. So one could get the indication from the Apple Watch itself. Well, this is the same case with wearables in electrical engineering. They are literally lifesavers as well. An excellent example is proxy bracelets for electrical engineers with a sensor that vibrates if it gets too close to high voltage electricity. Solar Power also developed boots that are built with temperature sensing, lighting, cloud connectivity, and GPS to provide a warning for overheating, proximity to danger, and falls. Furthermore, wearable devices are being developed to authenticate access to electrical machinery, provide communication information, without the use of mobile phones. This significantly improves the overall safety of electrical engineers. Another trend that we can see, it's not only restricted to electrical engineering, but yes, we can observe it, we can feel it. That is application of artificial intelligence. If artificial intelligence has penetrated large industries like armaments and medicine, surely the electrical engineering landscape cannot be an exception. Electrical engineers are expected to do much better with artificial intelligence by blending their prowess and skill with the know-how of artificial intelligence and machine learning. Electrical engineers are contributing in certain ways, specifically certain, say for example, one, create complex algorithms for data interpretation. Two, generate new codes or revamping existing codes. Number three, build massive artificial intelligence and machine learning platforms. Four, develop comprehensive strategies in the field of electronics. I'm also talking about electronics because in the theme, we are combining electrical and electronics, and they go together like sisters. Most notably, artificial intelligence is going to help electrical engineers with image processing. Leveraging artificial intelligence, engineers can invent complex image processing algorithms to help machines detect electrical or structural abnormalities on a framework and quickly send feedback or suggest rectifications. Ultimately, this helps to improve the workplace safety of electrical engineers who are often involved in hazardous and massive electronic production lines. Another trend, this is on the reverse side, that is prefabricated products. The use of prefabricated and pre-assembled electrical components is increasing. While they significantly bring substantial cost savings, it seems electricians are not happy with this trend. That's why I said it's on the reverse side. Electrical engineers are concerned that this threatens their role. You see, it is recorded that in the literature, I went through when I scanned the literature, the comment, the argument of a union enthusiast is recorded at of the say. It says that prefabricated products. He comments about it, he argues about it, that they don't need us, the companies, in view of the prefabricated products. Companies do not need us. A monkey can do that work. So this is argument. Some also argue that prefab increases the safety of electrical engineers, their efficiency, and ultimately compensates for the industry's labor shortage. Though this is a rising trend, but everybody is not taking it in a very positive sense. For companies, it's good. Although for engineers also, it ensures, it increases safety. But then some people feel that their role is getting threatened with this prefabricated products. Another trend is energy saving lighting technologies. Gone are the days when LED bulbs were only for those willing to pay high price. Those days are gone. LED lamps are becoming the standard de facto light bulbs. Today, with very low prices LED bulbs are now a possibility for the average consumer. Due to their energy saving capabilities, the bulbs pay for themselves in a matter of months. On an average, they can save each household. Say if we take the US statistics, it can save each household by $50 to $100 per year in utility bills. With more advances in smart technology, these lights are expected to become even more efficient and easy to install in the near future. And see, now in Indian context also, more of LED usage is there. We can see it. Another trend talks about the automated client relationship and project management. So I will not elaborate on this. This is self-explained. The Internet of Things, as Dr. Namit Gupta also mentioned about it. Yes, Internet of Things have a very important role. So far as the electrical engineering is concerned, say IoT impacts many different areas of the electrical engineering. From smart grids to smart lighting and visible light communication, VLC, among many others. IoT is now intertangled with the electrical engineering industry. As a result, it is now imperative that every electrical engineer becomes an IoT literate. Apart from the smart grid benefits like monitoring, distribution, and automation implemented in electrical utilities, IoT applications in the field of electrical energy also include smart inverters, advanced metering infrastructure, AMI, remote control operation of energy consuming devices, and SCADA, that is supervisory control and data acquisition. Similarly, these days we are getting more familiar with the drones, increased use of drones. When one thinks of drones, often it is probably one thinks of entertainment industry, shooting music videos and movies. So I will not elaborate on that. It is self-explanatory as we are seeing the increase in the usage of drones. There is a boost in the implementation of sustainable energy. With Greta Thunberg making her firm stand for intense action towards climate change, it is certainly not the best time for the energy sector to rely on fossil fuels and other environmentally unfriendly energy sources. The drive for sustainable energy sources is at its peak. The implementation of utility scale renewable fuels such as solar, wind, and hydropower is at its peak increase all around the world. Similarly, energy storage and better batteries, robotics is another emerging area. So there are many trends which are on increase, which and a common man must know, and conference is the right platform to share what is already available, what is already happening, what is likely to happen over the period of time, so that we get educated about the latest. At the same time, there is vast potential for research. So I'm sure that with this theme, this conference is going to be a great experience, and all of us will learn during these 2 days, today and tomorrow. So once again, I extend a very warm welcome to Dr. Anil Rajvanshi and all the distinguished resource persons for this conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It has always been highly inspiring to hear you. Now, I would like to request Honorable Chief Guest, Vice Chancellor, Conference Chair, along with convener and co-conveners, to release the conference book virtually. Thank you. We are honored and privileged to have with us Padma Shri Dr. Anil Rajvanshi as our chief guest. Before inviting him for the address, let us know about his professional journey. So, I request Professor Anjali Gupta, conference co-convener, to introduce the chief guest to the audience and invite him for the address. Ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. It is a proud privilege for me to read the citation for today's chief guest, Padma Shri Dr. Anil Rajvanshi. I quote, "The pioneering rural development work of Dr. Anil Rajvanshi was the last 3 decades has spanned a whole spectrum of areas affecting the lives of rural population: renewable energy-based cooking and lighting, power generation from agricultural residues, renewable fuel production from agriculture, electric cycle rickshaws, water purification, and effluent treatment through the use of renewable energy. He has BTech and MTech degrees from IIT Kanpur and PhD from the University of Florida. He taught at the University of Florida for 2.5 years. Dr. Rajvanshi established the Energy and Sustainable Development work at Nimbakar Agricultural Research Institute, NARI, in Fulton, Maharashtra. He is the principal author of National Policy on Energy Self-Sufficient Taluka, which is being managed by MNRE. He pioneered the development of electric rickshaws in 1990s and was the first person to initiate a program of e-rickshaws in the country. In early 1990s, his group at NARI set up the world's largest program on the production of ethanol from sweet sorghum. He also pioneered the development of loose biomass gasification system. NARI was the first institute in the world to develop 500 kilowatt sugarcane leaves gasifier in 1995. In late 1990s, he gave the concept of using ethanol as cooking and lighting fuel for rural areas. This strategy has been copied and promoted all over the world by the institutes like World Bank and Cooking Stove Alliance of United Nations. Dr. Rajvanshi has served Planning Commission, Advisory Board on Energy, MNRE, MERC, to name a few. He is also a member of Jamnalal Bajaj Awards Committee. He has more than 250 publications, 7 patents, 5 books, and various chapters in book to his credit. In 2014, he wrote about the human interest story of his work on renewable energy at NARI and has made this book freely available on the net to inspire the youngsters to work on rural development. In 2016, he published his autobiography, and in 2019, his latest ebook, Exploring the Mind of God: How Technology Guided by Spirituality Can Produce Happiness. In 1998, he became the second Indian to be inducted in the US-based Solar Hall of Fame. In 2001, Dr. Rajvanshi received the prestigious Jamnalal Bajaj Award for the use of science and technology in rural India. His efforts led to NARI getting FICCI Platinum Jubilee Award in 2002 from the then Prime Minister of India, Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee. His work on ethanol land stove was given the 2009 Global Forum Award for Sustainability Research in Stockholm from HRH Crown Princess Victoria. In 2014, he became the first Indian to receive the Distinguished Alumnus Award of the University of Florida, USA, and is listed as notable alumnus of IIT Kanpur. In 2022, Government of India honored him with the fourth highest civilian award, Padma Shri. Dr. Rajwanshi believes that spirituality with high technology should be the mantra of India's development and practices. Thus, he lives a simple life in rural Maharashtra while developing high technologies for rural India. In a sense, he is a spiritual engineer. I unquote. Sri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya Indore, India is privileged to present this citation to Padma Shri Dr. Anil Rajwanshi for gracing PRAGYATA 2022 as chief guest on May 27, 22. Now I would like the AV team to play the video. Thank you. Now, I would like to invite our chief guest to address the audience. Sir, please.
Thank you very much, Anjali. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And for this very nice introduction, respected Dr. Dhar, the Vice Chancellor, and all the dignitaries and participants of the conference. I must really thank Anjali for inviting me. I do not know why you selected me, because I'm not an electrical engineer, neither an electronics engineer. But since you have selected me, so I'll take this opportunity to fully utilize about and tell you a little bit of experience that we have in renewable energy, especially in connection with electrical engineering and electronics. Now, what you have taken up in this conference is a very, very vast subject, and I don't think I can touch on it in 25 minutes. But I will tell you what are the possibilities, because there are students and faculty members, and I think there is a great need to look at the future of electronics, electrical engineering, and sustainable development using the renewable energy. Now, this is an electric age. As all of us know, everything that we do has electricity embedded in it. It's very unfortunate because we are moving really to the all-electric society. And God forbid, if the failure of grid takes place, then we are all finished. So you will not be able to cook, will not be able to have even hot water. In fact, you can freeze if you are in northern part of the world. So it's not a very good thing, but that's how we are moving. And this electric age was ushered by Edison, Tesla, and so many people. In fact, 15 years ago, I wrote a very interesting biography of Tesla, which was published in journal Resonance. And I would urge the audience here that you can Google Nikola Tesla article in Resonance, and immediately my article will come. And then you can read how almost everything that he touched has come true now. And as the Vice Chancellor was saying, that we are now moving towards the transfer of electrical energy without any wires. And Tesla tried this in early 1900s. He was not successful, though he showed that how possibility it can be done. And now with the modern technologies and materials, we are reaching that. Now, why electrical engineering? Electrical engineering, because of the fact that we are into, electricity can be transmitted very easily. After all, it's the main source of energy. And so we are we always are looking for ease of transport. In the liquid fuel, you have tankers, you have pipelines, and these are the only two sources of energy, liquid, gaseous. Electrical energy can be transferred very easily. And that is the reason why it has gone from just a curiosity 100 years ago, now into the major things. The biggest problem in electricity is that it cannot be stored. You produce it, it has to be used. And that is where we are now looking at all the devices with batteries and so on and so forth. And batteries have their own problems. A lot of work is being done, but batteries are still a problem. And as you must be reading in the papers, a lot of batteries are exploding. They are not being manufactured properly. So there are a lot of things happen. And also the fact remains that I just wonder whether billions of years ago, nature also tried to do or look at the possibilities of having direct energy passage through the electric current. And finally, it came to the development of chemical into electricity. So all the electricity in the nature is through the chemical process, and that is the need. That is what we should be looking at. So when we started looking at the renewable energy, our major concern was how to have a storage. Now, storage in batteries is possible, is being done, but I think on a large scale, it will be very difficult. So we feel that there is a need for storing energy in different forms. Plants and life store the energy in chemical form, which is a food. You eat the food, it is stored, and that the chemical energy is converted into mechanical energy, which are the muscles. And that is how it's a very efficient process, and we need to duplicate. And that is what I call the learning from nature. Another thing about batteries is that presently it uses a lot of rare earth materials. Rare earth materials are being, they are not every country in the world which has rare earth mines. So there could be a cartel in the coming years, just like there was a cartel of the oil lobby. So the same thing might happen for the rare earth materials. So there is a need to get away from all these things and go for a simpler solution. I feel that a decentralized solar energy, use of hot water at 70-80 degrees Celsius, driving organic Freon, organic Rankine cycle would be an answer. The efficiency of these systems will be very low. When I was a student and a professor in University of Florida in late 1970s, these systems were coming where 100 to 200 kilowatt units running on Freon as a working fluid, basically an organic cycle, running at 70-80 degrees Celsius, they were able to run very nicely. But then the electricity came very rapidly. The fossil fuels became very easily available. So this technology did not take off. But I feel that a small decentralized system of 100 to 200 kilowatt running on solar energy at 70 to 80 degrees Celsius will allow it to run 24/7, because one can store heat in this water and it can run for 4 days, 5 days, or whatever time. So this is something which we need to look at, since this is there are a lot of students and faculty members. This is something to look at, how do we produce electrical energy for that. Today, for whatever reason, we are following the path of United States of having electric vehicles. One of the biggest tragedy in electric vehicles naturally is charging. Where are the charging stations? All the places, we talk about. Do you know that if you make a calculation, convert all the vehicles in this country to electric vehicles and let them be charged by electricity, we need around 10 to 20 times more electricity than we are producing today. This thing people don't think, and this is going to be a very huge thing to talk about and work on. what I feel is that if we have these decentralized power generation, not through the photovoltaic, because if supposing there is no solar energy or cloudy weather for 5-6 days, then the photovoltaics become very poor, and then you have to have a huge storage system. So the thermal storage is probably one of the answers for it. Then the next question comes. So you have to first, we pioneered the concept of use of agriculture residues for producing power. In fact, the Taluka plant that I was a principal author, there are 150 power plants of 5 to 10 megawatt capacity, which have been put in place by IREDA. And but I feel that the agriculture residues should go back to the soil to improve the soil for agriculture. So we need to use the solar energy for producing power. And today, the world is divided into two parts. Most of them are going for the photovoltaic, but I feel there's a huge demand for thermal production of solar thermal production of power. And again, we should not have the fossil fuel mentality where the fossil fuel plants were 1,000 megawatt, 2,000 megawatt. And we are also producing solar plants in the same capacity. That is not the answer. Solar energy comes in a very democratic manner. It comes in every place. So we should have small systems producing power. Next thing I would like to talk about, since we pioneered electric rickshaws, that the future, and I'm talking mostly about rural areas because I work in rural areas. We feel that in rural areas, the future of farm machinery is electric. Today, I'm not sure how many of you know, but 70% of our tractors are used for transportation. What a waste, because tractors are not meant for transportation. They are high torque machines. And if you are going to use them for transportation, it is such a huge wastage of diesel and etc. I feel that electric tractors, electric small farm machines, because our farms are small, for weeding, harvesting, etc., needs to be developed. And these machines are not developed anywhere in the world because United States and Europe have huge farms. So they work on their farm sizes, and they have these huge machines. Our farms are small, so there is a tremendous need for developing small farm machines. And if these are electric powered, running on the solar power production of electricity, then this could become really a sustainable development. Now, another thing very interesting is that we need to look at also how to improve the Indian farming. And one of the very important things in that are the drones, are so many other things which require IoT. In fact, almost 7 to 8 years ago, I wrote the first paper on precision agriculture, which became a very well-known paper all over the world. And I also wrote about how IoT can help in rural areas, because when you have a small farm, you use drones, you use other piece of technology by which you can find out what is the problem with your farm, what are the disease, etc. Then you can take corrective action and you can help in increasing the productivity. The reason why I'm telling you is this, that rural areas, especially small farms, are extremely useful for looking at all these technologies which are electrical powered and which utilize the IoT. So we are not even talking about the urban areas, we are talking about the rural areas where 55% of our population lives. And if we do that, then I think there is going to be a very big challenge. There's going to be a huge demand for electrical engineers, electronics, etc. Another very interesting thing is the 3D printing. I can design anything, New York, California, anywhere, and I can print in a small rural town like Fulton, any design. And that changes the whole process of using IoT, using the electrical engineering, using so many things for improving the quality of life of world poor. So this is what I wanted to discuss. And as a parting thought, I would like to say that we should try to follow nature. Nature uses electricity very in a very small manner. It uses electricity in two ways. One, producing rain. When the rain production takes place, because there is a tremendous amount of electric discharge, this electric discharge helps in creating the water droplets. Then the thunder is an outcome of that, and we get rain. And it also uses electrical energy for communication. All our nerves, all our muscles, everything have electrical signals by which we work. So these are the only two places where electricity is used. The rest of the places, the nature uses chemical energy. For example, the best and the most efficient conversion of solar energy into mechanical is via muscles. You have the food goes into the muscles, and the muscles then produce the mechanical energy. There is a need for all of us to follow that. And if you do that, it will be very useful. And I think that will be the future for mankind to use electricity in a very meaningful and in a very efficient manner. And I again thank you very much for inviting me. I do not know how useful was my lecture, since I'm not an electrical engineer, but there are so many things that we did in this electrical process for our energy needs for rural areas. So this is something that I wanted to share. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. It is our pleasure to listen to you. Thank you very much for sharing your profound knowledge. Your words will definitely inspire young engineers, technocrats, and researchers. Now, I request our convener, Dr. Navita Khatri, to propose words of thanks. Ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you is such a prayer that cannot be seen or touched. It must be felt by heart. I feel honored and privileged to get the opportunity to propose a vote of thanks on this special occasion. I, Navita Khatri, convener PRAGYATA 2022, like to thank all the honorable delegates who blessed us with their presence. I am also very much thankful to all program advisory committee members and the invited speakers. Words are not enough to thank their constant guidance and support to shape the conference. I, on behalf of the organizing committee, convey deep regards and hearty thanks to our Honorable Chancellor, Shri Purushottam Das Kasare ji, SWV Indore. I am also thankful to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Upinder Dhar, SWV Indore. They helped us in obtaining the necessary administrative approval for organizing the conference. They supported in all possible manner to organize this conference. My special thanks to our chief guest, Padma Shri Dr. Anil Rajvanshi, for his gracious presence and their words in this conference. I am very much thankful to Dr. Santosh Dhar, Dean Research, for their constant guidance. I also like to give a special thanks to Institute of Engineers, Kolkata, for their technical collaboration with this conference. I am very thankful to our conference chair, Dr. Namit Gupta, for their constant motivation and guidance. My sincere thanks to co-convener, Dr. Sapnil Jain and Professor Anjali Gupta, for their help and support at various stages. I am very much thankful to all current and formal faculty colleagues and non-teaching staff members who always stand by us and motivate us. I feel proud and thank you for making this conference a successful one. An event of this dimension cannot happen overnight. The wheels starts rolling months in advance. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by a team of very motivated and dedicated students, committee and volunteers. I thank everyone for their involvement they have shown and the willingness they have expressed to take on the completion of tasks beyond their comfort zones. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request everyone present here to please switch on their cameras for a common group photograph. Thank you. With this, we come to the end of the inaugural session. So I request everyone to rise for national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. And I think it was very nicely organized. I have looked at other Zoom conferences also, and it was very well done.
Thank you very much, Rajvanshi ji. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, and have a nice day. Now, I would like to request participants to join the sessions accordingly on Zoom platforms with their shared links. Thank you, everyone, and have a nice day once again.